But not as a teaching profession. But what did you think you would do with that degree?
Well, that's a good question. I actually studied juveniles at the time. I knew I would probably do something with, even though I studied juveniles, I knew I'd do something with preschool children, things like that. And that's kind of what I started doing. I was a Head Start teacher originally. And if you don't think, you can learn a lot being a Head Start teacher. You're exposed to a lot of different kind of people that maybe you would not have known growing up. You see true poverty sometimes. Being a Head Start teacher, you go into the actual homes of your children and do visits. I think it's a wonderful thing. I wish every teacher could go into their children's homes and see where they come from. It helps see them in a different light.
Right.
So I did that. I was a school counselor. So I've always was kind of in education. Then I did admissions at a small college in North Carolina, and then came here to Huntington, and then wound up doing this. But this has been my favorite job.
This is a great. This is almost like you're perfect for that, because you. Like you said, you had the degree from Auburn, but you grew up over near Auburn in Chambers County, didn't
That's
you?
right. That's right. Big place.
Lafayette.
Nothing but cows and pine trees, I tell people.
Well, the Chambers County is not that rural. It's a rural county. It's not like Conecuh, where Sue Bell's from.
That's true. I tell her when I go home to Conecuh County with her, and we used to go visit her mother, I used to say, you know, Lafayette is so similar to where I grew up and where she grew up. Very, very similar type towns.
You know, people who not from Alabama, they don't call Lafayette.
Oh, I know.
When you went to North Carolina and you told folks you were from
Lafayette, and then I'd say, but we say Lafayette.
Uh-huh.
My family actually is transplants. We weren't from Alabama. We were from Florida. So even my mom and dad, when we first moved here, it took them a while to get used to Lafayette. But they're used to it now.
Were you born over there? You born in Florida?
I was born in Florida, yes, sir.
So you moved there when you were a teenager or something?
No, sir, when I was a little baby.
Little girl.
I mean, I was like a year old.
Well, you're right. The heart of going to Auburn was natural, and you made in the perfect thing for children first. You're the perfect person for that job.
Well, thank you.
It's got to be a perfect, great career for you.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
It is. And after I got my master's at Troy in public administration, it all just seemed to come together. And then meeting my board, and I just work well with my board. I can't tell you how lucky I am. I have the greatest job in the world.
It's almost like you were scripted for that role to do that. It's a perfect role for you. But you know, going back to this, we need to talk a little bit about politics.
Sure.
What year did you? Well, do you remember the first governor's race? Was Fobb governor? He was from Chambers County. Fobb James was from Chambers County. Did you realize that?
I did not realize that. No, sir.
Yeah, he was born in Chambers County, and he started Diversified Products there in Opelika, and built barbells.
I remember that.
And made a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And he sold that business out to Sears bought him out. He developed. He went to Auburn. He was a running back at Auburn, all conference. Fobb James was. He grew up over there, right where you were from, in Chambers County, and he went to Auburn and became an all-conference running back at Auburn. And then he and his brother started what's called Diversified Products.
I remember.
Had over 500 employees. One of the biggest
that.
industries in Auburn. And they developed barbells that were plastic. Everybody was using these old steel barbells for years.
Yes.
And he developed plastic barbells, and then he woke up and sold that business to Sears. He was still a young man in his 40s when he did that, and had made a lot of money in the purchase of Sears, and didn't play golf, so he decided he'd run for governor. So he took his own money and won the governor's race in '78, and he came back again and won it in '96. I was talking to someone about Fobb the other day. He still, comes to Montgomery sometimes. But I'm in both those papers, Lafayette Sun and the Valley Times News.
Oh, man.
I get them in the mail every week.
A boy I went to school with now runs the Lafayette Sun. With Mike Hand.
Mike Hand?
Yes, Mike Hand, and then Chris Busby, a boy that I went to school with.
So you're familiar with it?
Oh, I'm very familiar with it. I went to school with Mike's sons, and yes.
Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
I talk to Mike all the time.
Oh, Mike's a wonderful guy, too.
He really is. He's been running my column since I started writing that column over a decade ago.
My goodness.
It's in 70 papers throughout the state. Towns like Lafayette and that sort of thing have my column, but in Chambers.
I tell people all the time, I think even our legislators sometimes, we get wrapped up in, our big cities, Birmingham, Montgomery, Mobile, Huntsville, but Alabama is extremely rural, and we have people, that's how they get their information, is through those small town papers, so I think that's important, absolutely.
It is. Christy, tell our viewers again what they can do I mean, to advocate and help you as far as, do y'all ask for citizen involvement? Do you get all your funding from the tobacco tax, or do y'all ever raise money from individuals or that sort of thing?
Well, we get this. That's a great point, and I'm glad you asked that, Steve. Alabama Children First, those two entities don't get a dime of this money. I get none of this money. I don't touch this money. I simply watch it go through the legislative process. How we get paid and how we run Children First is through donations. We have corporations like Alabama Power who have been very supportive of us for years. We go out and we either have events or we solicit corporate donors or individuals. We've had a lot of individuals who have given very generously to Children First. So people can go to our website, alabamachildrenfirst.com. They can give through that. If they have an idea about something that needs to be advocated for children, they can call us. They can email us. Eve or I will be glad to talk to them. We have email alerts that go out. People can go on our website and sign up for those so they can stay informed about what's going on in the legislative session regarding children.
I don't know if we have time for Ronnie to put that up on the screen, or y'all's Children's First, how to get in touch with y'all. He probably didn't have time to do that. We've only got a few minutes left. But tell our viewers again how they get in touch with you and how they might be involved in Children's First as being just a small donor or just belonging to your membership. So tell them again how they can do that. How can they join Children's First?
Go to alabamachildrenfirst.com.
alabamachildrenfirst.com.
Or you can just call us the old-fashioned way, 334-396-6314.
Well,
talk to Christy or Evie.
Okay.
It's just the two of us.
And y'all
we'll be glad to help.
So that's how y'all run your organization. Y'all don't get any state dollars to run your organization.
Not one. And that's what a lot of people get really confused about. They think that even our legislators, there's a lot for them to understand and know. You know, there's a lot of child advocacy groups out there. They get confused about who does what. But I'd really like to let everybody know we don't get any of this money. None of it.
Wow. So y'all have to rely on corporate contributions.
We absolutely have to.
Individual contributions to run y'all's office.
That's right. And we did that. We didn't want any of the money because we never wanted anyone to say that we were doing this for self-gain. We're not. We're doing it for children. That's it.
You just shepherd the money. Y'all,
that's all we do.
You just advocate for those. Tell our viewers one more time what all agencies get the tobacco tax, Children's First state dollars.
Well, let's see. There's 12 of them. It'd be difficult. Okay, DHR, Department of Human Resources, Department of Youth Services, Department of Mental Health, the Multiple Needs Office, which deals with children from all agencies, Education, oh goodness gracious, AOC, because we do juvenile probation services through it. There's several.
DHR would be the largest.
DHR is the largest, DHR and Education.
Well, Chris, this has been very enlightening today to have
well, I've enjoyed it. Thank you.
Letting our viewers know about what Children's First does. We've heard that term and about that agency for years and years throughout the state, and we have as our guest tonight the original, from the real voice, Christy Mehaffey. And our time is up. I hate to say that, but again, viewers, we thank y'all for watching Alabama Politics. We've deviated a little bit and got off on an agency that is not totally political. It's not political at all, but advocates for children. And our guest has been Christy Mehaffey, who is head of the Children's First program in the state. And we thank Christy for being with us tonight. And we thank you, viewers, for watching Alabama Politics. And we hope you'll tune in again next week for Alabama Politics. Thank you.
This has been Alabama Politics with Steve Flowers, a production of Troy University Television. Opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of Troy University, its administration, faculty, staff, or students.